on top of this test match and this test series. The moving day didn't move towards India, definitely, and rapidly moved towards the South Africans. I've got Shaun Pollock here with me. And once again, a very happy day for him. What have you made of it?
I can't believe it, really, to be brutally honest. As we sat here last night trying to wrap up what we thought of the first 2 days and what would go on day 3. I couldn't have imagined India being bowled out to lose 6 wickets for the addition of 27 runs at one stage. Jaswal was great at the top of the order, and Washington, Sundar and Kuldeep Yadav showed some fight. But it all just seemed too easy, to be honest, for South Africa. Bowl them out for 201 after posting basically 500 to have a lead like they have. I suppose also the manner in which the dismissals have fallen. I mean, who would have thought that you would have had Mark Jansen almost bouncing out 5 batters on an Indian pitch? When we came here, we thought spinning surfaces, that's what it's going to be, and our spinners are going to have to step up. And he's shown what he can do. I mean, when he got those 2 wonderful wickets in the chase at Calcutta to start the innings off, and then bowled brilliantly. And as an ex-all-rounder, I've just got to appreciate what he's done. 93, now a 6 for. If he doesn't get man of the match, I'm very interested to see who does.
Absolutely. Just a couple of questions since you touched on all those topics. 2 things. Firstly, were you surprised that South Africa didn't enforce the follow-on, given that there was only that much time left in the day, and also given what we saw from Bumrah and Siraj, and given the fact that they could have been well rested coming tomorrow, with the way they've actually bossed the entire series so far?
I think there could have been an awkward little period there for India. Of that, there's no doubt. I just think the Indian innings went on a bit too long because Kuldeep and Washington put that partnership together, and it got to the second year. Well, I think if they bowled them out in like 60 overs, they would have said, okay, let's follow on. Just think the extra 20 overs meant that maybe they felt like, oh, okay, let's have a night's sleep. Let's have a morning where we're nice, relaxed, get a massages in the change room. And then maybe after the tea break, you have to get it right. It's not the lunch break, after the tea break tomorrow, declare and say, okay, posted 450, whatever it may be, let's bowl, yeah.
And Mark Jansen, how impressed were you with him? Did he play any mind games with the batter? Yes, you said he's a tall, fast bowler, and obviously he spent a lot of time on those kind of surfaces, so he must have definitely relished coming into this game. But just his game plan and what he did.
Yeah, I mean, we listened to the interview afterwards. We did the interview as we were coming off air, and he said, I had no nip and no swing. So I thought I must use my other attributes, which was my bounce. And that's basically all he did. That's all he did to get those wickets. If you had to analyse the bowling performances of the new ball, India in the first innings got the ball to nip around and almost became unplayable at times. And even tonight in that little hour session that they had, the ball nipped. It nipped. There was movement and they beat the edges on countless occasions. South Africa didn't. They didn't do that. And that was why you thought, oops, okay, India are going to be able to post something here because there's not much for South Africa to work with. In fact, I was more concerned about how quickly India were going to get to their runs. And in his interview, Mark Jansen said, we were thinking we could be in the field for 2 days. But having set that kind of total up, they obviously wouldn't have been too concerned. That's why it was such a surprise. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, they would have been wanting to pinch themselves, the coaching staff and even Mark Jansen. Bang it in, wicket, bang it in, wicket. And it's an attribute that he possesses and he uses it all around the world. I was just surprised at how that simple game plan of what he did became so effective.
Yeah, it did become pretty effective, and it seemed as if people didn't want to face him. Exciting performance from Marco Jansen. And for more such exciting performances, please watch The Family Man Season 3, which is out there on Amazon Prime. And this is why you need to watch it.
ये गांव है ना, मेरे घर जैसा है. मेरे घर में मेरी ही मार हो गई और मुझे पता नहीं चलेगा.
रुकमन कदा म्यांमार में दिखा है, हमें बॉर्डर पार करना होगा उसको पकड़ने के लिए.
औकात बढ़ानी चाहिए अपनी, लेकिन भूलनी नहीं चाहिए.
वो कुछ बड़ा प्लान कर रहा है सर.
बात पैसे की नहीं, पर्सनल है.
Yes, Family Man, back after, 4 years. And it's an interesting and a catchy tagline there, which says, एक अपनी duty से चलता है और दूसरा अपनी मर्जी से, which means that...
What did you say?
So what it means is that one guy follows his what is supposed to be the protocol or duty, and the other one follows the heart or does what he wants. So for me, the next question which I want to pose to you is, obviously you've been the captain of South Africa, you've been one of the premier all-rounders and a gun player. Did you follow the heart or did you follow the preset plans?
I was probably, my performance-wise, I was probably more of a protocol guy. I was like line and length consistently. And your heart might have said, well, venture and try a Yorker or venture and try a bouncer. I didn't do that all that often. When it came to batting, I was probably more of a follow my heart, like see it play ball. I'd like to think I was a combination of both at times. But if I had to say one or the other, I probably was more protocol, simple game plan, try and stick to it as much as I can, and then maybe throw a bit of heart in from time to time.
So that brings us to the point, or to the Rishabh Pant's dismissal for me. Look, we can defend him, we can love him, loathe him. That's the way he plays sometimes, but sometimes you also are left fuming and left literally tearing your hair as to what he does. At that point of time, that bouncer running down the track, the same thing goes, flies for six. Everybody is saying, wow, audacious. And the same one nicks off. And you're thinking, this is the captain of the side. The chips are down. They're literally tottering. And he plays a shot like that. So do you defend him? Do you support him? What do you make of it?
Yeah, he definitely went with his heart, didn't he? What do they bowl a bouncer, then they put short leg in and he charges down and nicks off. I suppose the nature of the individual means that you kind of get it. You get where he's coming from. Does it make sense? When you get out like that, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't matter how we can try and sugarcoat it. It just doesn't look right. Particularly as how destructive he can be in the situation that we're in. If he absorbs pressure for a little period there, he can apply some massive pressure against the spinners in particular and put them on the back foot. Is it a case of a captain wanting to make a statement to try and get his troops to follow? Did he need to show a bit more grit, determination? Did he need to be a bit more calculated about what he did? I would tend to suggest that even as he sits there now, he's thinking to himself, today it was probably the wrong call, or the timing of it was the wrong call. I could have maybe done it a little bit later, but I can't see him sitting there thinking I would do it again.
Yeah, but the thing with him is that sometimes if you try and put him in some box, he doesn't flourish. You let him be, and he has to work it out for himself. At the end of the day, you're your best critic and best judge as well, because you know what's going on inside your head. But coming back to the rest of the South African bowlers and just the way they played, anything which they needed to improve, or are you happy with the entire performance?
I don't think I've got any issues whatsoever. I mean, to bowl them out for 201, what it was. Jansen, impressive. Ian Mulder did his role, 5 maidens, kept it tight. Keshav Maharaj probably could have had a few more wickets, but he was the one who got that initial breakthrough. Palmer was good. Probably underbowled Sen Mutusami, who won't go down that road. He was warming up for an eternity at one stage.
He warmed up for more than the number of overs he was bowled.
Adam Markham did his 10 overs. I suppose the big challenge is that it can't be that easy second time round. So they're going to have to maybe come up with a few different plans. And we saw from overs 60 until Washington Sundar got out that there was a lull and it was difficult. And they might have to deal with that. Or maybe they don't. Maybe the wicket changes and there's a little bit more assistance for them. But can only be happy once you've posted 500, bold team out for 200 quality.
I think you have to love their effort. But the only bit of criticism, if I can use that word, was post-lunch when I felt Simon Harmer was bowling from the wrong end. And Aidan Markram took a few overs too many. I thought possibly you go to your 2 lead spinners just before the new ball was due. Simon Harmer from the end where he had done all the damage because he was getting the ball to drop and drift and found the length, whereas from the other end it seemed as if it was just coming onto the bat nicely. So I thought maybe they could have done that. That was the only criticism from my part, because sometimes you need to give the spinner the end he prefers, and the end he's bowling well from. That was the only thing for me.
Yeah, I think we got a feeling that they were kind of waiting for that new ball, didn't we, at that stage? They did eventually get him on, and he picked up the wicket before the new ball was taken. So, Yeah, I think it was an experiment, and I don't think we'll see him bowling from that end for the rest of the test match.
Maybe he wants to bowl from the end where we are commentating from. So that brings us to the next topic. And that is a favorite topic for me because I get the chance to put Shaun Pollock in the hotspot. And the question that I have for you, and that is something which is bothering me as well, having watched this team over the last so many years. And what is bothering India now? Why is it we've done well, did reasonably well in England? Maybe we could have won a few test matches, but ifs and buts don't mean anything. We lost a test series against New Zealand at home with some of the biggies there. Now this team in transition, we defeated West Indies, which was possibly, it's not a barometer, so to say, but against South Africa, we've not played well on a track which has spun. We've not playing well on a track which has seemed placid for the rest. What is ailing? What is bothering us? What is bothering India?
Yeah,
if I can use that word.
It's a case in point. I think you often get teams in transition. You talk about people like Sharma and Kohli stopping. And the people waiting in the wings, and people go, oh, get them in, get them in, get them in. They should be playing, they should be playing. Eventually, they're given that opportunity, but they have to show that they're capable of handling what's thrown at them at the international level. And unfortunately, this series in particular, they've been found wanting. I think you've definitely missed Shubman Gill. Even when he came to the crease in Calcutta for the 3 or 4 balls that was there, you just got the feeling, whoops, okay, South Africa have got a battle on their hands. So to have missed their main key player at number 4, the amount of runs he's been able to accumulate has been a massive loss. But obviously positions, Dashin comes in, Sundar goes down, he was 3, now he's there. It just doesn't seem settled. And we all know that quality teams often have very settled batting lineups. And that just allows people to identify roles, play their roles. And you also don't want a feeling to be created where people are playing for spots. Your people who know they're in the team tend to perform better, whereas when people on the outside are coming in, getting a chance here or there, they maybe play according to that scenario where they're not feeling settled and comfortable. But that's kind of maybe being generous to them. It just honestly, for now, hasn't been good enough. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the second innings, because it's been 3 innings where they've been below par. And there's enough talent there to suggest that shouldn't be the case. So they should be better, but I think conditions are going to be more difficult second time on.
Yeah, and also going forward, you've been watching and follow Indian cricket pretty closely. Any personnel changes you would like to make?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, I've always enjoyed Padikkal. I suppose he's the one batter who's sitting on the outside looking in. Yeah, there's nothing that jumps out at me. I mean, we've seen these young guys and what they've done in the IPL. I don't know, it's a completely different format. And we've always, from the outside, as foreigners, we thought, gee, you guys have got some batting depth. Look at these young guys. They come in and perform and do whatever. And you have a team that's playing Test cricket, and then your T20 team goes in a different tour and they produce, and you play A sides. So it's come a bit of a surprise. And it's actually time now. I mean, it's a wonderful time to actually be an Indian batter, because if you put your hand up, like Shubman Gill has done, and say, hey, back me and produce, then you can make a real name for yourself, because all of a sudden, India is calling out for someone or people that can be reliable with the bat in the longer format.
Yeah, you look at the openers, they seem settled. They actually look good together. They're about 200 plus stand at Perth. That was KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jai. I saw quite a few 50 plus partnerships as well. Number 3 seems to be a bit of a concern now, because all the promise from Sai Sudarshan, and what in 10 or 11 innings, he's only got 282 or 290, something like that. And then Dhruv Jurel, we all said that can actually fit in just as a batter, which he can, but as you said, settled order gives you
Well, he came into the series with 200s against
correct.
South Africa A, so I felt, oh gosh, he's in a good space, and South Africa could be in trouble. But definitely for me, I mean, it's not the only explanation, but a huge miss has been Shubman Gill.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the best batters on or from the Indian point of view has been Washington Sundar, who's been shunted up and down the order. I don't think he's had a settled batting order. He seems to be the one who's like, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 8, where do you want to go? Number 3 a few times. number 5, number 8. So yeah, he's been up and down the order, and he seems to adapt pretty easily.
It's amazing, hey, how you can be that individual where they just feel they can throw you up, and there's certain other people, like if you mess their batting position, they completely throw it off kilter. But I suppose that maybe the nature of his career is he's had to kind of just fit in wherever he's got a chance, and there's been a case in point again here.
Now to the final segment of the day before we wrap it up, and that is the fast forward, because we are looking ahead. What a position to be in for South Africa, 288,
Yeah.
and then what, 20 odd now?
It's 300 and something ahead.
Yeah, so
314.
26, yeah, 314 ahead. So what do you think they'll be happy with tomorrow? What do you think they should be doing, given again the fact that we're losing? We lost not many today.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good with the over 8 South Africa, in spite of having Marco Jansen bowl long spell. So what do you see from them?
I think what they'll do, the terminology we need to get right. So it's tea before lunch in this test match. So they'll bat for the 2 hours, get to tea, and maybe bat for an hour after. You'll probably get close to 450. I think they'll believe that's enough. Pull out, have an hour before lunch.
Send Marco Jansen.
Yeah, hour before lunch, 2 hours after lunch, and then you've got the last day. And I mean, I suppose the one thing by them not making India follow on is that they'll be setting India something. But if they chase down 450, I would be very surprised at what we've seen. And it gives themselves the best chance. I mean, it's all about points for the World Test Championship now. What do you get? 12 for a win. So coming on this tour, I think if you said to South Africa you could walk away with 24 points on a tour of India, they would have jumped and bitten your hand off. Because particularly after the last World Test Championship final, where they got there and people said, well, who have they beaten and where have they played? And okay, you look at it and now you've got to go Pakistan away, you draw that series. You come to India, you get 2 victories if it goes according to plan. And then you head off to Sri Lanka, where you could maybe do some damage as well. That would be huge for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where this test match seems to be headed. So that's a wrap from us, but we'll be back with you tomorrow once again to figure out what happened on day 4. And seems like everything is going South Africa's way. Looks like they have the series wrapped up, but we still have 2 more days, and looks like it'll go those 2 days because of the nature of the surface and where we are at in this test match. So that's a wrap from us. See you tomorrow on Cricbuzz Chatter.